In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus spoke words that have echoed through the ages, words so weighty, so profound, that even now, thousands of years later, their full meaning is still not fully understood. Among the stories, the parables, and the teachings, there are warnings so precise, so urgent, that many who read these passages skim past them, assuming they are merely moral lessons or distant tales. Yet these were not ordinary instructions, and they were not meant to scare. They were meant to awaken, to prepare hearts, minds, and lives for realities that are easily overlooked in our daily routines. Imagine for a moment, standing on the hillsides where Jesus spoke, surrounded by crowds pressing in, each person straining to catch every word. The air is heavy with expectation, with the weight of understanding yet to come. And in this moment, the words he spoke carried more than guidance. They carried warnings, hidden in the verses, layered with meaning, and often unnoticed. Many have read these passages over and over, and yet what they miss is not obvious at first glance. It is subtle. It challenges assumptions. It questions how we live, what we prioritize, and how we perceive faith itself. And there, quietly, beneath the surface of familiar stories, lies a message that is urgent, personal, and transformative. By the end of this video, you will see these warnings revealed. You will understand why they matter, why they were spoken, and why, if we pay attention, they could alter the very way we approach our lives and our faith. These warnings are not relics of the past. They are alive today, waiting for those willing to see them. And so, we begin. Not with fear, not with judgment, but with the quiet realization that the words of Matthew contain lessons that have been waiting for us to notice. To fully grasp the warnings hidden in the Gospel of Matthew, we must first travel back in time, over 2,000 years, to a world both familiar and foreign to us today. A world where the weight of tradition pressed heavily on the people, where law and faith intertwined in ways that dictated every aspect of life, and where one misstep could alter a life forever. Matthew, the author of this gospel, wrote for an audience that was searching for meaning, searching for guidance, searching for hope in a time of uncertainty. His words were carefully chosen, written for both Jews who clung tightly to centuries of law and prophecy, and Gentiles who were encountering these teachings for the first time. It was a world of contrasts, old and new, tradition and revelation, comfort and challenge. At that time, political tension hung over every town, every village, every marketplace. The Roman Empire held dominion, and its influence was everywhere, from the coins people used to the taxes they paid. Religious authorities watched the people closely, guarding laws and interpretations with meticulous care, often emphasizing rule over spirit. In such a climate, the danger was not always immediate or visible. It came quietly, in misunderstanding, in misinterpretation, in the complacency of assuming one truly knew the path to God. Now picture yourself standing on the hillsides of Galilee, surrounded by a crowd of thousands. The sun presses down. The dust rises in tiny clouds as people shift and murmur. The air is thick with anticipation, and then he appears, a man speaking with authority that commands attention, yet also radiates compassion. His eyes scan the crowd. His voice rises and falls, each word deliberate, each sentence layered with meaning. At first, the story seems simple, parables about seeds, servants, and lost sheep. But underneath, there is a current, subtle yet undeniable, of warning. These were warnings not designed to frighten, but to awaken. They were placed in plain sight, hidden in the rhythm of his teaching, often passing unnoticed by those who heard only what they expected to hear. Some listeners nodded, thinking they understood, yet the real message pressed gently, persistently, challenging assumptions, exposing complacency, and inviting reflection. And it is here, in these overlooked moments, that Matthew's gospel becomes more than a story. It becomes a mirror. It asks the listener, the reader, the seeker, to look beyond appearances, to question the security of their understanding, and to consider the choices of their hearts. These warnings are timeless. They are not confined to the hillsides of Galilee or the streets of ancient towns. They reach forward, speaking to anyone willing to listen, anyone willing to notice what often escapes the casual glance. As we journey through these passages, we will uncover these hidden warnings, exploring what they meant then and what they mean for us now. We will examine the lessons that have quietly waited for centuries, tucked into familiar stories, waiting for those who are willing to listen closely, to reflect deeply, and to confront the truths that challenge, guide, and ultimately transform. This is where our exploration begins, not with fear, but with awareness, not with judgment, but with discovery. And as we step further into the words of Matthew, you will begin to see that the warnings he gave are alive, speaking across time, calling each of us to a deeper understanding, a greater vigilance, and a life shaped by insight rather than assumption. As we step further into the Gospel of Matthew, we begin to sense the weight of these words, the urgency hidden in what at first seems familiar. Matthew does not simply recount events. He layers meaning upon meaning, teaching not just through story, but through careful warning, an invitation to examine life beneath the surface. Let us begin with the first and perhaps most confronting warning, the danger of false confidence. In Matthew 7:21-23, Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father." At first glance, it seems straightforward, a reminder that actions speak louder than words. But pause here and consider the depth of what he is saying. It is possible to live a life outwardly devoted, to attend ceremonies, to speak prayers, to claim faith, yet miss the heart of obedience entirely. Imagine for a moment those thousands of faces on the hillside, each person convinced they understood, each believing their words were enough. And yet, Jesus' voice cuts through certainty. He challenges the assumptions we cling to, exposing the quiet disconnect between what we profess and how we live. Could it be that we, in our daily routines, in our small but habitual choices, are guilty of this very same disconnect? Do we tell ourselves that intention is sufficient while our actions tell a different story? But then a second warning emerges, the warning against hypocrisy. In Matthew 23, verses 1-12, Jesus addresses the religious leaders of the time, the scribes and Pharisees, whose knowledge of the law is vast, whose outward appearances are meticulous. Yet he sees the misalignment between their teaching and their lives. Their practices, though correct on the surface, fail to reflect the deeper demands of justice, mercy, and humility. And this warning is not confined to distant history. It reaches into our lives today. How often do we act in ways that please others or maintain appearances while neglecting the more demanding, unseen responsibilities of character? Blind adherence to rules, rituals without reflection, righteousness in public but not in private. These are challenges as relevant now as they were then. The warning here is subtle, but it is insistent. Integrity must align with practice, or the faith we claim is hollow. Next, we encounter the warning about complacency in faith, illustrated in the parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25, 1-13. 10 young women wait for the arrival of the bridegroom. 5 have prepared, 5 have not. The moment of reckoning comes, and only the vigilant enter the celebration. The lesson is both simple and profound. Faith cannot be passive. Waiting requires preparation. Patience demands attentiveness. And readiness cannot be assumed. It must be cultivated every day, in every decision, in every action. As we reflect on this, we begin to see a pattern. Jesus' warnings are never abstract. They are practical, immediate, and personal. They call us to examine not only what we do, but who we are, and how prepared we are for the moments that define our lives. Every parable, every teaching is a mirror reflecting our own readiness or lack thereof. However, Matthew's messages extend beyond the personal into the eternal. In Matthew 6:19-34, he warns against misplaced priorities, treasures that fade, pursuits that distract, concerns that consume. they all risk drawing attention away from what truly matters. Wealth, ambition, approval. These can subtly redirect devotion, bending our focus from what is lasting to what is fleeting. The danger is quiet, almost imperceptible, yet the consequences are profound. And here is the question that echoes through time. Where do we place our value? What do we allow to define the direction of our lives? And finally, a warning that touches every word we speak, every act we take, the power of words and actions. Matthew 12:36-37 reminds us that every word carries weight, and every action leaves a mark. In a world saturated with speech, communication, and expression, the lesson is urgent. Words can uplift or wound, clarify or confuse, build or destroy. Actions, intertwined with our words, carry consequences beyond what we can immediately perceive. How carefully do we speak? How intentionally do we act? And do we pause to consider the ripples that extend far beyond the present moment? Each of these warnings, examined in isolation, is profound. Together, they form a mosaic of instruction, a guide to living with awareness, purpose, and vigilance. False confidence, hypocrisy, complacency, misplaced priorities, and careless words all converge to challenge the assumptions we hold, the paths we walk, and the lives we build. And as we continue to explore, we will begin to see the connections between them, the patterns that emerge, the subtle ways each warning amplifies the others. In the interplay of these lessons, we are invited to see ourselves, to confront what has been overlooked, and to recognize the depth of guidance that has quietly awaited our attention for centuries. These are not warnings to instill fear. They are invitations to reflection, to insight, to transformation. They call us to examine our intentions, to evaluate our actions, and to align our faith with the life we live. And in doing so, they illuminate a path forward, one that requires vigilance, humility, and an unwavering commitment to understanding the deeper truths that the Gospel of Matthew so carefully preserves. And now, having walked through the warnings that echo throughout the Gospel of Matthew, the danger of false confidence, the subtle and often hidden threat of hypocrisy, the quiet but relentless pull of complacency, the distractions and misdirections of misplaced priorities, and the undeniable weight of our words and actions, we arrive at a moment of revelation, a turning point, a space where understanding deepens and the lessons of the past begin to speak with urgent clarity to the present. It is here that the full meaning of these warnings emerges. They were never designed to frighten, never meant to condemn. Instead, they were intended to awaken, to illuminate, and to prepare the heart, the mind, the spirit, for choices, for challenges, for life itself. And as we sit with this understanding, we must ask ourselves, what would change in our lives if we truly grasp the depth of these warnings? If every word we speak, every decision we make, every quiet moment of reflection were measured against the principles that Matthew laid before us, how differently would we live? How differently would we love, serve, and act in the world? Consider the world today, bustling with noise, distraction, and ceaseless activity. Picture a modern professional immersed in the rhythm of daily life. Emails, meetings, deadlines, obligations, responsibilities. On the surface, life seems orderly, purposeful, even successful. But beneath that surface, what has been overlooked? What has been neglected in the rush of routine, in the pursuit of achievement, recognition, or comfort? Perhaps relationships left unattended, moments of compassion postponed, opportunities for growth overlooked. And then, unexpectedly, a challenge arrives. A sudden illness, a difficult choice, a personal failure, and the consequences of being unprepared, of failing to align intention with action, become undeniable. In this moment, the warnings of Matthew come alive. They are no longer distant echoes of the past. They are urgent, relevant, and deeply personal. False confidence is revealed not merely as a theoretical concept, but as a lived experience, claiming faith while neglecting the discipline of living it. Hypocrisy is no longer an abstract critique. but a mirror reflecting where outward appearances may have disguised the truth of the heart. Complacency in faith becomes a palpable tension, highlighting the cost of inattention, of waiting without preparation. Misplaced priorities are laid bare, showing the subtle ways in which fleeting concerns can pull attention from what truly matters. And the power of words and actions resonates with a quiet force. What we speak, how we act, and the choices we make ripple far beyond our perception. Pause for a moment. Reflect. Could it be that in our daily lives, we have been blind to warnings that were always present? Could it be that the lessons of Matthew are calling to us now, urging us to awaken, to prepare, to engage with life with clarity and intention? These questions are not meant to provoke fear. They are invitations to awareness, to discernment, to transformation. And consider this: true faith is not measured by comfort, recognition, or outward conformity. It is measured by preparation, attentiveness, and the courage to examine oneself honestly. It is a vigilance of the heart, a clarity of purpose, and a willingness to align every action, every word, every intention with what is enduring, with what is righteous, with what is just and compassionate. The turning point arrives when these warnings cease to be abstract ideas and become practical, guiding principles. When we see that preparation is more valuable than assertion, humility carries more weight than recognition, and vigilance shapes not only our destiny, but the very quality of our daily lives. As we sit with this understanding, imagine the difference it could make in every decision we face: the patience to pause before speaking, the attentiveness to act with integrity, the courage to address what has been neglected, the clarity to distinguish between fleeting concerns and eternal truths. In every interaction, every challenge, every choice, the warnings of Matthew offer guidance, a framework for living deliberately, faithfully, and with purpose. And yet, the most profound insight is perhaps this: these warnings are an invitation to see life in layers, to recognize that beneath the surface of everyday existence, there are truths quietly waiting to be acknowledged. They invite reflection, introspection, and an alignment of heart, mind, and action. They remind us that faith is not passive. It is active, intentional, and persistent. It is a vigilance that carries us through the unnoticed moments, the decisions we think are small, the opportunities we might overlook, and the consequences that follow. So, we are left with a choice: to continue perhaps in the patterns of convenience and comfort, or to heed the warnings, to see the guidance, to embrace the preparation that Matthew offers. The difference is subtle but profound, and it begins with awareness, reflection, and the courage to confront our own lives honestly. As we continue to explore, let us hold these lessons close. Let us listen to the warnings, not as relics of history, but as living instructions, waiting for those who are willing to notice, willing to understand, and willing to act. For in doing so, we begin to experience the gospel not as a distant narrative, but as a guide for living with discernment, faithfulness, and insight. These warnings are alive. They are here, and they have the power to shape not just our beliefs, but the very way we walk through each day of our lives. And now, having traced the warnings, examine the teachings, and glimpse the profound insight embedded in the Gospel of Matthew, we come to a moment of deep reflection, a space where these lessons are no longer distant words, but guidance meant to shape the very way we live each day. The first question we must ask ourselves is this: what truly holds our attention? What shapes the direction of our lives? Is it the pursuit of wealth, recognition, or comfort? Or is it the quiet cultivation of character, the steady alignment of intention and action, the pursuit of principles that endure beyond fleeting hours and changing circumstances? Matthew 6 reminds us that where our treasure is, there our hearts will be also. Pause and reflect on this. What do you treasure most? And what would it look like if your treasures were aligned with enduring values rather than temporary gain? Next, consider the alignment of your faith with your actions. In Matthew 7:21-23, Jesus draws a stark distinction between words and deeds. between claims of devotion and lived obedience. Reflect on your own life for a moment. Are there areas where your words speak of belief, yet your actions fall short? Where intention and behavior are misaligned, even subtly, this is not condemnation. It is an invitation to examine oneself honestly, to measure the depth of our devotion not by what we say, but by what we consistently do when no one is watching. And then, the subtle, quiet warning against hypocrisy. In Matthew 23, the scribes and Pharisees are admonished not for their knowledge, but for the distance between appearance and heart. Consider for a moment the small moments in your own life, interactions where you may have acted for appearance rather than integrity, gestures performed for recognition rather than genuine care. Hypocrisy is rarely dramatic. It creeps in quietly, in choices made to satisfy expectation or ease rather than truth. Becoming aware of it is the first step toward realignment, toward living authentically in every aspect of life. Journaling or meditation offers a concrete method to internalize these lessons. Choose a verse from Matthew, perhaps one we have explored today, and spend time with it. Write your reflections, consider your responses, and ask how this teaching can be applied practically tomorrow, next week, or even in the moment you are living now. This is not about memorization or performance. It is about turning insight into lived experience. Let us bring this into modern context. Picture an individual navigating the pace of contemporary life. Emails, meetings, social obligations, the constant pull of media, and the pressure to maintain appearances. On the surface, everything may seem under control, successful, even admirable. Yet beneath that surface, the subtle dangers Matthew warns us about may quietly shape the direction of life. Relationships may be neglected. Opportunities for genuine connection may be missed. Moments for growth, reflection, or service may pass unnoticed. When a crisis arises, an illness, an unexpected decision, a failure, the lack of preparation, vigilance, and alignment becomes apparent. Historical context deepens this understanding. In Matthew's time, the world was marked by political tension, social hierarchies, and religious scrutiny. Daily life demanded attention, discipline, and discernment. Scholars note that Matthew structured his gospel with layers of meaning: moral, ethical, relational, and practical. Each parable, each teaching, served multiple purposes: to instruct, to warn, to prepare, and to guide the heart and mind toward clarity and action. Recognizing this helps us see that these lessons were designed for application, not just reflection, then and now. Consider the parables themselves as practical illustrations. The 10 virgins remind us that vigilance and preparedness cannot be assumed. They must be cultivated. The scribes and Pharisees reveal the consequences of acting for appearance rather than substance. The warnings about words and actions emphasize the enduring impact of communication, both intentional and casual. Each story reflects a reality that transcends time. The way we live, the choices we make, and the alignment of our hearts with our actions determine the quality, meaning, and direction of our lives. Now, pause. Reflect. Consider the decisions you have made recently, the ways in which your priorities have guided your time and energy. Are there areas where misalignment exists? Are there subtle habits or patterns that have crept into your life unnoticed? Matthew challenges us to see beyond the obvious, to notice what has been overlooked, to confront what has been left unattended. Living out these lessons is not about perfection. It is about vigilance. It is about deliberate, conscious choices. It is about the courage to face uncomfortable truths, the wisdom to measure actions against enduring principles, and the commitment to practice integrity in both grand gestures and quiet, ordinary moments. Evaluate your priorities. Align your words with actions. Guard against the quiet temptations of hypocrisy. Reflect, journal, meditate, and observe. And as you do, a pattern emerges. The warnings are not limitations, they are guides. They are invitations to live fully, with clarity, with purpose, and with the courage to act in accordance with what is true, just, and enduring. They teach discernment, vigilance, and intentionality. They remind us that faith, lived authentically, shapes the quality of every interaction, every choice, and every day. Each reflection, each moment of examination, each small act of alignment is a step toward integrating these teachings into life. The process is gradual, patient, and intentional, but it transforms the ordinary into meaningful, the routine into deliberate, and the familiar into profound. And as we embrace these applications, the teachings of Matthew cease to be distant guidance and become living instruction, practical, immediate, and transformative. As we come to the close of this journey through the Gospel of Matthew, let us pause, breathe, and allow the weight of what has been revealed to settle within us. Throughout this exploration, we have walked alongside teachings that were delivered over 2,000 years ago, yet remain astonishingly relevant, astonishingly alive. These are not stories confined to history. They are living lessons, meant to shape the way we move through our own lives, through our own choices, through our own hearts. Let us revisit the warnings we have uncovered, each one carrying a hidden layer of truth, false confidence, a reminder that faith is not measured by words alone, but by the alignment of our actions with our beliefs, hypocrisy, an invitation to strip away appearances, to confront the places where the heart and outward behavior may not match, and to pursue authenticity with courage. Complacency, a call to vigilance, to awareness, to a faith that is alive, responsive, and prepared for life's unexpected challenges. Misplaced priorities, a gentle yet firm warning to examine where our focus rests, to distinguish between the fleeting and the eternal, the urgent and the truly important. And finally, the power of words and actions, an acknowledgement that even the smallest choices ripple outward in ways we may never fully see, shaping not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. Now, take a moment to reflect on these warnings in the quiet of your own heart. Which of these truths resonates most deeply with you today? Perhaps it is the reminder to measure your faith by action, or the call to live authentically, or the subtle nudge to reassess what you value most. Maybe it is the recognition that every word you speak carries weight, every decision you make echoes into the future. Sit with this. Let it guide you, challenge you, awaken a part of you that has been dormant, unnoticed, or overlooked, and let us lift our hearts together in reflection. Lord, open our eyes to the warnings in your word. Guide us to live in wisdom and faith. Help us to align our words with our actions, our intentions with our behavior, our priorities with your eternal truth. Lead us to vigilance in moments of routine, to discernment in moments of choice, and to courage in moments of uncertainty. May our hearts be open, our minds attentive, and our spirits ready to embrace the lessons you have laid before us. As you carry this reflection, consider the ways in which it can be applied in daily life. Journaling, meditation, quiet contemplation, these practices transform abstract warnings into living, breathing guidance. Write down what resonates. Record moments of insight. Examine your priorities. Ask yourself, where am I giving attention that is fleeting? Where am I neglecting what matters most? How can I align my actions, my words, my heart with the enduring principles Matthew presents? And there is power in sharing. If this message has opened your eyes, if it has stirred reflection or revealed a truth you had not considered, share it with someone who may benefit. Speak about it with a friend, a family member, a colleague. Let these hidden lessons in Matthew ripple outward. The warnings we have explored are not meant to remain private. They are meant to guide, to awaken, and to transform. Finally, we invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to this channel, where each day we uncover stories, parables, and insights from the Bible that challenge, inspire, and illuminate truths that are rarely spoken aloud. Allow these lessons to shape the way you live, the choices you make, and the way you see the world around you. Remember this: these warnings are not a source of fear. They are an invitation, a call to attention, to awareness, and to preparation. They are a guide, quietly persistent, patiently waiting for those who will listen. They remind us that every action, every word, every intention matters, that vigilance, reflection, and authenticity are the pathways to living fully, faithfully, and wisely. Carry these lessons with you. Let them shape your days. Let them challenge your assumptions. Let them awaken a deeper understanding of what it means to live a life aligned with faith, purpose, and truth. And as you do, may your heart be illuminated, your mind be sharpened, and your spirit strengthened by the enduring guidance of the Gospel of Matthew.